So with this question, you're given an equation and you're asked to say what's wrong with it. So your first response to this question probably is to try and integrate it and see if the integration that you come up with actually matches with the answer the question gives. And if you try that, you'll see that it does. That 3/2 is actually the answer that you get for the area under the curve of 4 over x cubed between -1 and 2. But the question is still asking what's wrong with this equation. So you have to kind of look a little deeper than what the question actually says and maybe think about some rules, some fundamental rules of calculus. So that was a big hint because what we've learned about in this chapter especially is the fundamental theorem of calculus, which I'm going to call FTC. And under the fundamental theorem of calculus, there are two assumptions that control all integration. The first assumption is that f, or f of x, is non-negative. So, cannot be a negative term. Secondly, f of x must be continuous. So this would be very important for this particular question because f of x must be continuous between its limits of integration. So for us, the limits of integration are -1 and +2. Now if we try to graph this question, and if you use your graphing calculator, you'll see that if we're going between -1 and +2, if we plug -1 in for x, we get -4. If we plug 1 in for x, we get +4. If we plug 2 in for x, we get 4/8 or 1/2. But when we plug 0 in for x, we get 4 divided by 0, which is undefined, and which tells us that the graph does not exist when x equals 0. Now the problem with that is 0 is within our limits of integration. So what's wrong with this question, or what's wrong with this equation, is that it's not continuous within the range of integration.